The holidays are coming. Are you already feeling the weight of it all? If the thought of juggling festive gatherings, family demands, and the never-ending to-do list feels like too much, you're not alone. For women navigating menopause, the added stress of the season can be overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be this way. In today's episode, we're diving into simple, effective strategies to help you manage holiday stress, maintain your mental well-being, and actually enjoy this time of year. Think morning routines that bring calm, tips to boost your energy naturally, and ways to stay connected with what really matters. So, if you're ready to shift from feeling drained to feeling delighted, stay tuned to this episode of the Menowave Lounge, Hot Flashes and Cool Conversations.
Welcome to the Menowave Lounge, Hot Flashes and Cool Conversations. Today we have Coach Jennifer with us, and we are going to be talking about the holidays coming up and the stress and the overwhelm of it and how to make it a more blessed event through the holidays that you can enjoy and be healthy through. Welcome, Jennifer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me. I'm excited about talking about this topic, and I can't believe that it's almost the holiday season again, but I'm excited about able to look forward to it and be able to not feel so much of that stress and that overwhelm and help others to do the same. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't believe that we're in fall, that the summer has just gone by so quickly.
yeah, it does seem to be getting quicker and quicker every year.
Yes, but I do love this time of year. And this time of year is really good because you're starting to get prepared for the winter and the darker days. And I like to get myself prepared, soak in as much sunshine as I can get out and do my walks and exercise and just charge up and reset for the winter months, because it does kind of come on real quickly. And I don't know about you, but with the days getting shorter, my body kind of feels like I want to hibernate, which is hibernation is different than isolation in a way. Hibernation is kind of like a natural thing that our bodies want to do, but isolation is not healthy for us because isolation keeps us separate from interacting with people or family and loved ones, and it can lead to depression and anxiety. So understanding what is healthy for us during the winter months versus what is unhealthy. What do you think about all of that?
Yeah, I think it's easy to kind of fall into that I don't want to say trap, but sort of a trap of feeling like hibernation is somehow bad, like we're doing something wrong if we want to be a little bit quieter, a little bit more kind of on our own. I agree with you. It's different than isolation, right? We're not isolating. We're more listening to what our bodies are telling us. And a lot of times, even I live in Ohio, so we have definitely the change of seasons. And if you don't live in a place where there's those definite change of seasons, our body still experiences that kind of slowing down, and maybe we don't have the outside leaves changing and that type of a thing, but we definitely go through these sort of like waves of energy and where we need to put our focus. And sometimes we need to rest more than maybe what we would want to, but when our body is asking for that rest and we just keep pushing, at some point our body is going to say, I don't want to do that anymore. And so when it comes to all the things that we talk about often as coaches, nutrition and exercise and sleep and all of those kinds of things, if we're not paying attention to the signals that our body is giving us that say it's time to hibernate a little bit, it's time to slow down, then we end up being even more fatigued and having more struggles with belly fat and weight gain, and just not feeling our best, not feeling ourselves. So if we're getting those signals, especially this time of the year, it's a good time to kind of reassess. And maybe that means we just sit down and reprioritize where we're spending our time and what we're focused on and that type of a thing, as opposed to that isolation. So
Yes, very good point. Our eating habits really do change a lot in the wintertime. I like to eat with the seasons. And so in the wintertime, I like to do like yams and not necessarily starchy stuff, but root vegetables. I use a lot more of those in my cooking. I made a really yummy mushroom chowder last night that was just delicious, made it from scratch.
Mhm.
Cooking is real big for me. That in the wintertime, that's kind of like my thing
Sure.
to kind of like keep me from going into a depressed state or and blahs because it's something that's active.
Mhm.
So I like cooking, but I also like cooking with fresh vegetables and fresh potatoes and fresh seasonings and things like that, and a lot of soups. I make a lot of soups during that time, and that's fun. So I all that to say is just finding things that you like to do during the winter time to keep your mind active and your body active, keeping you connected. Staying connected is really important in a way that you stay connected with your community, with your family and friends.
Mhm.
If there are community groups, maybe a meetup group that you like, uh, those are definitely things to look into and stay connected with.
Mhm.
And those will keep you interested, busy, occupied, and you'll be helping somebody else. And it kind of feels like it's a lonely time of the year, you know.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, we're not necessarily outside as often seeing other people and kind of interacting in that same way. So sometimes it has to be a little bit more purposeful that we're getting out and seeing making those connections. I think it's really, really important that we have connection, whether it's, but it might be less often. And that's okay. If we're pulling back a little bit, we're wanting, the days are getting a little bit shorter as far as the sunlight. We want to be inside a little bit more. There's nothing wrong with that. We can maybe do things around more lunchtime types of things as opposed to evening. I know a lot of ladies, we just don't like to be out as late as what we used to be. I joke all the time about I'm going to start a dancing, I don't want to call it a nightclub necessarily, but some place where we can go at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and dance and sing and then be home by 6. Like it's just a different kind of thought process about it, right? To have that community and have those people that are around you. But you do what makes you feel comfortable and but realizing that if we're spending too much time alone, too much time at home, then we might be having some of that isolation, which can then increase our chances of having more depression, more anxiety, especially around the holidays and that type of a thing. So just being aware of that. Some people are very, very comfortable being at home by themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people want to be out and about 5, 7 days a week, and neither is wrong, but knowing what sort of your natural rhythm is during the time where maybe you are going to be out and about a little bit more in the summertime, trying to mimic that a little bit in the winter too. Again, if it's earlier in the day, that's fine. But I find that for a lot of the ladies that I talk to, because as a therapist and a dietitian, we talk a lot about anxiety and a lot about depression, a lot about stress and overwhelm. And so it's really important that we're our own best kind of thermostat for that. If we're feeling that isolation and we're feeling some of that anxiety or that depression creeping up, setting up some ways that we can really work through that before it gets to a place where we're really feeling isolated and alone. Because it is, I mean, women supporting women is huge, 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 huge. So we're really good at supporting each other, but we don't always, if we're not reaching out, sometimes we don't know that people need that support. So
Oh, that's so true. And you never know what your friend or another lady in your group is going through.
right.
And until you reach out and just say, hey, I was thinking about you today and just wanted to see if you're doing okay. What's new in your world? That can brighten up somebody's life like no other. I mean, you may be the only thing that came into their life today. And so be that light, be that shining beacon for another person. And it makes you feel good too.
Yeah. Yep.
It's yes, and these are the winter blues or sad
Mhm.
seasonal depression is a very real thing.
Yeah.
I was talking with a ladies group and we were talking about how hard it is getting up in the morning time when it's dark. Our bodies don't like to get up when it's dark out. And even though some of us are still working, we we're having to fight with ourselves to get up. At least I always did. I'm a person that will wake up with the natural light. And I
Mhm.
like that. But there are ways to manage that. I have it's a light and it comes on very, very slowly to emulate sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really nice. I also will set my Alexa Dot. I have it in the corner of the room to start playing very soft music at a certain time.
That's a great idea.
And yeah, and then you're waking up to music. But I'm not one that can just jump right out of bed anymore and hit the ground running. I
Yeah.
have to get up an hour early at
Yeah.
least and sit and have my quiet time, have my tea, just let my body wake up. And I think those are a lot of people are like that. We are not Instapots. We aren't microwaves anymore. So remember to give yourself some compassion and give yourself some love in the morning. If you have a routine of meditation or prayer or just sitting and being quiet and listening to within, what is your body telling you today? What does it need? And that could be a variety of things, but just listening to what your body's telling you that you need is so key in the wintertime so that we don't get into isolation or depression or anxieties, and that we are balancing our day in a way that's keeping us healthy and not wearing us out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of research about just that need for sunlight and that slow kind of progressive wake up in the morning. Ideally, we're getting up and not having our caffeine right away and waiting about 90 minutes after we wake up if possible. And in that 90 minutes, we're doing exactly what you said, like some prayer time, some quiet time, kind of rising up into the day a little bit slower. And if you can't get outside, if you're in an area where you can't get outside and get into the sunlight, at least sitting in a window where you can get some of that sunshine, even in the middle of winter, there is some sunshine there usually. So trying to have that kind of slower start. Now, many women watching this may be saying, I don't have 90 minutes. If you right now you're not taking any time and you can spare 30 minutes, great. Just trying to make that space for yourself in the morning is a really great way. I would challenge everyone that's watching this, just try it once and see what the difference it can make to your day. And again, we're not looking for perfection. So if 90 minutes is too long, start with 30 and see. But I find, like, for myself, kind of making myself not jump up and get out of bed as soon as the alarm goes off, and just taking 5 minutes of, okay, like deep breathing, starting to have some conversation with God, and just easing into the day that way can make a huge difference to feeling that right away, feeling that overwhelm and that hurry, which doesn't do anything for us physically, really, and probably helps us to get less done during the day than more. So
Absolutely. Yes, that is. And all these are just little tips. Just
sure.
pick the things that resonate with you and just try one thing at a time. You don't have to change your whole routine to something new, but these are the winter times and these are all really good suggestions and ideas to help us through the winter. One of the other things that I really highly recommend is adding extra vitamin D in your diet as a supplement, because our bodies need that, and especially more in the winter than any other time. Vitamin C is another really good one. Your omega oils. If you're not taking supplements, consider starting to take something. Magnesium is also another very good one that women don't get enough of. And you can also get these supplements in your food and your diet too, as well. So, but our bodies really do go through so much of a change in the winter that we have to do supplements with some of it. So considering bumping up on some of those extra vitamin D's, and zinc is also another one. It keeps us healthy. I like echinacea and astragula. Those are immune builders. Like I'm trying to come down with something like a little head cold or something, I will definitely start either taking it in a capsule or putting it in my tea. It comes in the like little drops,
Mm.
and you can buy them in most stores. There is echinacea tea, which is very good for you. You can put like a splash of lemon in your tea or honey in your tea, and that helps. So these are just little remedies that you can do. I pay attention to what my body is telling me. If I start feeling like I'm coming down with something, I definitely start in on my echinacea and astragalus. And that usually knocks it right out because wintertime, it's a lot easier. There's a lot of colds and flus that are going around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We're in tighter spaces and more together and that kind of thing too. So yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about holidays and parties and events and things like that. They're great to go to and they're great to host. But I would say do what is comfortable for you. Don't put that heavy expectation that you have to be the hostess with the mostest and plan the whole part, unless that's your nature to
Right.
do that and that gives you joy. But
Mm-hmm.
if it doesn't, it's okay to say, hey, family, it's a potluck event, or we don't have to actually have Christmas on Christmas. My family members, I have two daughters, and we kind of split up the weekends before to get together. So when it comes to holidays and events and things like that, give yourself a little bit of grace. If you're not feeling up for it or you don't want to drive at night, try and plan things that are during the day with your friends and family. We do that a lot. We'll have a Christmas brunch instead of hosting a big dinner thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do anything for the holidays? What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, we've historically had, I also think there's a generational change that's coming, right? When with myself and my two sisters, it was always we rotated houses and we kind of planned out the menu and it was always an extensive menu and that kind of thing. And I think that as my kids are getting older and my nieces and nephews, I feel like things are changing a little bit and there's not the same kind of emphasis on all of the things. And so I know for myself, I feel less driven to have to make everything that we used to do. We have to have all the side dishes and all the desserts and all the things. And honestly, when I'm happier, everyone else is happier too. It's a lot less stress for everybody. So if you need to buy some things instead of making them homemade, like there's no judgment, right? And so I think we're harder on ourselves that we have always done this, so we have to keep doing it the same way. But really the holidays, the older I get, the more it's like the holidays are a time to connect and really get to see people that maybe you don't see as often. Maybe there's relatives that come in from out of town or whatever, and really sit. And for me, God is my kind of beacon. And so Christmas is about the story and all of Jesus and all of that. And so I'm like, sometimes I miss that if I'm in the kitchen making too many different dishes. So whatever your center is, really trying to focus on that and bring yourself back to that place of more peace and more joy. And the food and the decorations will kind of take care of itself. I mean, I've been through that season where everything has to be laid out and all the things. And anymore, I feel like that connection is so much more important to the people that are around us and the people that we love. So
Mhm.
I'm giving you permission to buy the dessert instead of making it from scratch.
Very good. Very
You
good.
feel like you need permission.
And I also want to say that there's a lot of us that may not have family around during the holidays, and that can be a very a time of maybe depression
Mhm.
because we aren't close and we don't have family around, and or we had loved ones and they may have passed, and so it can be very sad, a sad time. And a lot of people do fall into depression during the holidays, and so I would encourage you to reach out to your friends, your family, and check on them. Are you alone for the holidays? Would you like to come over and sit and enjoy a meal with us? Just checking on you. Those are things that are really important when we get to be these ages that we are, is checking on our friends and our neighbors and our family members and
Mhm.
letting them know that somebody cares for them and that they're not alone. And even if they are far away in another state or something like that, reaching out and calling them. I call my dad all the time, call my mom all the time, my daughters, just to stay connected.
Right.
And so I would really encourage our listeners to think about who is in their sphere. Who
Hmm.
haven't you heard from in a long time? Because they
Right.
might be struggling.
Right.
So
Right.
staying connected is really important.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
And that's the nice thing. I mean, we have this opportunity, right, where we can do Zoom meetings and we can do FaceTime and there's other ways that we can connect. And it is nice to be in a room with people in person, but it doesn't always have to be that to have that connection. I think I heard a statistic the other day that was if, and I don't quote me because I don't have verification of this, but this is something that somebody said, that if you're smoking 15 cigarettes a day, it is better for you than being lonely. And I thought, wow, that's a
Wow.
pretty bold statement, right? Like it's like that's how loneliness can really affect us in a really, really deep way. So it's just something to keep in mind, that loneliness can affect us not only from a physical standpoint, but certainly from an emotional and a mental standpoint. So if you are the one who's experiencing some of that, reaching out, whether it's in the menopause support group or reaching out to your community, reaching out to professionals, that type of a thing. But point, Robin, reaching out to others that might be feeling that loneliness. It can be, you never know how you can positively impact somebody with just a few kind words, just reaching out and saying, "Hey, I've been thinking about you." That can be the difference for them of a really great day and a really lonely day. So all of us have that
Absolutely.
capability.
Absolutely. And I just want to kind of tie that in with our menopause journey, because in menopause, as you many ladies know, our bodies are acting so so different from what
Crazy.
we're used to.
Yeah.
And so in the holidays, that can really might set you off in a way that it could trigger all kinds of emotions. And so tying back into our mental health during the holidays or the winter time is really important to pay attention and stay connected and do these different things that are going to help keep you emotionally healthy through the holidays, going to keep you happy, going to keep you balanced, going to keep you in touch and connected. I I just really want to say, give yourself some grace,
Yeah.
some love, and some compassion. Do
Yeah.
something nice for yourself. Go buy those nice flannel pajamas. And girl, I have those just for the winter time. Do nice things for yourself in the winter time. That's important. Take that nice, warm bath with the lavender bath salts, or go and get yourself a pedicure or a manicure. That'll so then every time you look at your nails, they're all nice and pretty. Or go buy that Christmas sweater that you've been wanting that stands out when everybody sees you, or just makes you feel really good because it's cashmere or something like that. Doing nice things for yourself during the winter time really can really keep your spirits high. And yeah, I do those things for myself. It's like I deserve this and I'm going to give myself permission to do that. So
I think whatever emotion you're feeling, allowing yourself to feel that too. Be not judging yourself because you are feeling a certain way or you're having a certain reaction to something, like experiencing it and then noticing it and then deciding if that's how you want to continue to feel, right? And maybe that means you go out and spend some time with other people, or maybe you do go buy those flannel pajamas, or you do take that bath, or whatever kind of we're always trying to up level that emotion, right? When we're feeling something, if it's not a happy emotion, what do we need to do to kind of get ourselves to a place where we're feeling better and we're feeling more inside, we're feeling more love and more joy and that type of a thing. And that can look different for everybody and in each and every day. But yeah, I agree. Give yourself permission to be kind to yourself because that's important. It's absolutely important.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that the winter times definitely bring its own kind of flavor to nature as well. I mean, I'm not a big fan of rainy days, but I love when I go up to the snow and just take a walk, short walk.
Yeah.
But just enjoying nature out, even on rainy days, I'll go take a drive up to the wooded areas, and in between rainstorms, I'll take a 10 or 15-minute walk just to get out in nature. And there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, even though it's cold and everything, getting that nice wool scarf and your warm jacket and your boots and everything, and then just go out there and breathe in the beautiful forest air, or wherever you're at, if you're in a desert or mountains, even in the city, drive out of the city, get out of the city and spend some time in nature. For all you dog lovers, I know you get out there every day because your dogs get you out there. So thank goodness for us having dogs. Go to the beach, go somewhere for a weekend that gets you out of your environment. And that
Mhm.
can just change your mood right there, is getting out and creating good, healthy memories with friends, family, or sometimes just by yourself. I mean, there's lots of times I'll take myself down to the beach for an overnight stay and just listen to the waves and be able to just have some serenity for a little bit and then come back in and then I do life again. So these are really great tips for us through the winter to keep our emotions healthy and to keep us balanced,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. So until spring comes and then we see our rainbows.
Yeah.
'Cause thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but
Fun.
and you gotta laugh. You
Oh, yeah.
gotta laugh. Put on a funny movie and laugh. I always loved in the wintertime, I like to watch all my girl chick flicks. And sometimes I'll invite another girl over and we'll watch Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman or something fun and easy, even though I've seen it like 100 times. It's still you're spending time with somebody or even by yourself and you're
Mhm.
makes you happy, makes you smile. So you
Yeah.
should laugh at least once a day, if not 20 times,
Yeah. At least. At least.
or get into a good book. Now, that's also another thing that's a lot of fun is that book clubs. And
Yeah.
even if they're online book clubs, those are a
Yeah.
lot of fun. I've done several of those over the years, and that's a way of staying connected. And in the wintertime, I love to snuggle in and with a good book, and
Mhm.
sometimes that's how I spend my whole evening, which is
Yeah.
okay to
Yeah.
do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's lots of really interesting things that we can do in the wintertime for ourselves.
Mhm.
Um, I would be interested. I'm speaking to our audience. If you're subscribed, if you're watching, leave a comment and tell us what it is that you like to do in the wintertime. We would love to hear from you, or if there are topics that you would like us to talk about. We have so many wonderful experts like Jennifer here. Jennifer, tell us about yourself. I didn't even really introduce you. You've been on the show before, but give us a little bio of what you do and what's your favorite things.
Yeah, I am a dietitian as well as a therapist, and I have 30 years of experience kind of working through the ups and downs of nutrition and lifestyle changes and that kind of a thing. I'm 54, recently 54 myself, so in perimenopause, and so I understand from a personal and a professional level that things change. Life changes, our bodies change, our emotional and mental status changes, and I really like to marry together that kind of emotional and mental with the physical because feel like so many of the choices we make of how to take care of our body is driven by our feelings and our emotions. And so when we can have a better understanding of that and know that we don't have to do things the same way we've always done them, but we also have to think about how are we going to do that and stay consistent with that because we are human and we like to do things the same way over and over again, even if we're not getting the result that we want. So that's sort of what I love to talk to women about, have those kind of deeper conversations about what is it that you want? How do you want to live your life? What changes do you want to make? Because it really doesn't matter what I want them to do. It really just matters what makes you happy, what brings you joy. I always say there's a difference between joy and happiness. Happiness is fleeting, joy is comes from the inside and it lives in our heart. So everything we do, if it has that sort of overreaching joy to it, doesn't always mean we're going to be happy. We're still going to be sad sometimes, still going to be frustrated, and that's okay. But if our beacon is joy, then we're going to be able to feel more settled and more and less stressed and that type of a thing. So yeah, I love talking to women about all of these things. I love this conversation of how we can move into the menopause stage and be happier and more joyful and more ourselves because each one of us is unique and amazing. And I just love hearing women's stories about where they're at. So
Me too. Me too. Well, on that note, I don't very often talk about myself very much, but since we're sharing bios, I am a health and wellness life coach for women going through menopause. And a lot like Jennifer, I teach women how to retool their toolbox
mhm,
and create healthy habits so that their life is more balanced, happy, less stressful. And I talk with so many of my ladies Currently, I have a Circle of Friends group that I'm bringing ladies together because I love to hear their stories. I love to see where they're at in their life and what is it that they're going through, because my message is you're not alone. There are many of us that are going through different phases in our life. And a lot of us are retiring. A lot of us have moved closer to friends or places that we want to live. And how do we fit in with our community? How do we make friends? How do we look at our health and our diet and our exercise? Because we're not doing the same things we did when
Right.
we were 20. And
Right.
so, but how do we stay healthy? And so there's a lot of really good healthy habits that we can do for ourselves. And a habit is just something that you're comfortable with doing every day, like a ritual. Like you get up every morning, you have your cup of tea or coffee or something like that. So I help women to look at their life and their lifestyle and teach them how to make healthy choices that create happiness in their life. And it's just so amazing because women really want to support women. They want to come together. They want to be a part of a community. And I love providing that for them, the ability for them to meet other women or just to come and talk about where they are in their life. My business is Body Mind Coaching, and I had a birthday too, 62.
Yeah.
62. I
Happy
can't
birthday.
believe that I said that word, and it's just like, "What? No way." So, but I love being 60 in my 60s. I'm post menopause, but being in the group and talking with all the providers has been such an education. I mean, I wish I knew as much then when I was going through menopause as I do now. I'm so thankful of how much and am so blessed to be around all these different providers, doctors, nutritionists, and learning so much. And once again, we're not alone in this. There's so much good information out there. The Facebook group, women, I just blanked. See, Menowave, menopause brain. Our Facebook group is
The menopause support group. The menopause support group.
Menopause support group. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Menopause support group. We will have a link down below. I don't know why I got stuck on that, but it just totally went out of my head. And you have to laugh at it. You
You
just do.
do.
When those little things come
Yes.
about, you just have to
Yes.
laugh.
Yes.
And laughter releases healthy endorphins, and that keeps your body healthy. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Absolutely.
So this has been a great conversation, Jennifer. I'm so glad that you came on our podcast today. And
Too.
but I want to talk about what's coming up because you are going to be part of the Menopausa
Yeah.
menopause retreat. So tell
Super
us a little
excited
bit
about
about
that.
that.
Yeah, so we get to go to Sedona, Arizona for 4 days in November, November 4th through the 7th. It's going to be an amazing opportunity to come together, just as we're talking about, make those connections, have those conversations, talk about all things menopause. There's going to be some of the care providers are going to be there. We're going to be doing individual sessions. So I'm going to be talking about emotional eating and what that looks like in the menopause stage of things, and definitely talking more about the emotional side of how we take care of our bodies mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And so it's a really awesome opportunity to be in a room for 4 days, different rooms, but for 4 days of getting to know one another, hearing each other's stories, supporting one another, building those lifelong friendships and connections that just makes each of us stronger and richer and just healthier because we're making those connections. So it's going to be a really good time. There's going to be, again, more care providers there. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of forming these friendships. And I would love to have you guys join me. It's always nice to see and meet people from across the country. So if you're interested, I think there'll be a link below to be able to register and get signed up. But yeah, join me. I'd love to hug you in person and just get to know each and every one of you a little bit more and be able to share and support you in this journey, because women supporting women, there just is no better connection on the earth. So I think it's a great opportunity.
Yes. And think about it. Okay, this is November, right? And
Mhm.
Sedona, Arizona is going to be
Beautiful.
amazing. And the temperatures are going to
Beautiful.
be
Yeah.
great, it's beautiful. There's just so much really great energy
Yep.
just in that area. And I would encourage you just to go and soak in it and take some of that, all that really great energy and love back home with you, and recharge and refuel from it, because it's going to be a wonderful time. It really is.
100%.
Okay, great. Well, all the links will be in the notes below. So feel free to go and check them out. We'll have Jennifer's link in there. She'll be talking about her retreat and what she's going to be doing. So go on over and check her out. And I don't know, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we?
Just happy to be here, happy to share and have this great conversation. I think it's really nice that we're having more and more conversations about menopause and all the things related to it. So I love working with women in this space, and so I'm grateful to be here and have the opportunity. So thank you.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer. That was so well said. And once again, I just want to echo that same thing as think about the winter time. Think about, what are you eating? What are you putting in your life? Are you reaching out? Are you staying connected? Are you drinking your water?
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
Exactly.
And reach out to the group. There's a lot of really good information in the Facebook Menopause support group. And you can reach out to any of us. I'm Coach Robin, and this is Coach Jennifer. And we would be happy to just have a conversation with you, find out what's going on. All right. Well, ladies, once again, I want you to enjoy the rest of your week. And thank you for tuning in to the Menowave Lounge, hot flashes and cool conversations.
Thank you for joining us in the Menowave Lounge. If you'd like to connect with Marty, Robin, our guests, or any of our expert Menowave care providers for personalized advice and support, head on over to our website at menowave.org and fill out an assessment that will match you with a provider who knows just how to help. Remember, you don't have to face menopause alone. Our team is here to provide the guidance and care you deserve. So, take that step towards reclaiming your well-being and connect with a Menowave care provider today. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Menowave Lounge, hot flashes and cool conversations.